Hello and welcome to the Low Budget Industries drawing board of harebrained ideas. We will be coming back to this board a lot here on this channel, but today, and I always assume that everybody's watched my other videos, but I know that's not the case. So what we're going to do today is a project for my 1957 Chevrolet 210, which has a 355 small block Chevy in it that runs Fenderwell headers. And the exhaust that comes off the Fenderwell headers is not ideal. And we'll just get right into it and I'll show you what we got going on here. So my Fenderwell headers come down to the collector. Okay, and right now I run a cap on there, a block off plate, which is bolted on, right? Okay, and this of course goes up to the rest of the engine. Make sure we can see that. Yeah, we're good. Now, what most people do in this scenario is they won't run a plate there. They will run the rest of their exhaust off of that collector, and it goes back to the back of the car and the muffler, etc. Well, I couldn't do that. I could have done that on this car, but I didn't want to because it was going to hang down too low. And I don't like the way it looks when you look underneath the car and there's a bunch of stuff hanging down. Exhaust, whatever's down there. I just wanted, you look underneath it, there's nothing there right now because everything's tucked up way under, and that's the way I like it. And so what I do have, and this isn't ideal, I know, is my exhaust, which is a 3-inch pipe, is coming off of the header like this. Okay, I welded this pipe onto there. Now, fundamentally, this is terrible for an exhaust system. We have engine exhaust coming through here, right? And it's not going to flow easily a 90-degree angle like that. What it's going to do is it's going to keep traveling this way, run into a dead end, cause a bunch of turbulence and whatnot, and figure out where to go. So we've got flow coming in down here. And then we have what I suspect, and we're doing a little garage science here, is it's building up a little bit of pressure here. So I consider this to be a high pressure area. Sorry, I'm bumping into the camera here. Which then makes this the low pressure area, and the exhaust goes, okay, I guess we're going down here. But it's not free flowing. It's not, just automatically making that turn. There's a disturbance there, there's turbulence, there's everything you don't want when you want, it's like plumbing basics. You want it to flow nice. And with an engine, what you're doing is disrupting the amount of air that can come into the engine because it's having trouble pushing what it already burned out. Okay? So what I originally was going to do was I was still going to run a plate, but off of this plate, I was going to weld 2 pieces here and then have another plate right here that sort of acted as a deflector. I figured the exhaust coming in could now have an easier transition, bouncing off of here and making it down that way. Which maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't, I don't know. But what you would still have is I can't make this a super tight fit. There's no way to do it. So you would still have exhaust gases getting by here, creating the high pressure area, and then having even more trouble getting out of here because I have this plate. So that didn't seem ideal to me anymore either. So then what I was thinking was, instead of running just a plate, maybe we could make a little muffler insert there. Which, by the way, I did the research and they already make something like that. But what they don't make, or I couldn't find, I should say, is something that filters 100%. So what they make is, it's basically like a little glass pack. You know, you have your flange like this, you've got your hole, and then they have an insert that where this area is still free flowing, and you've got your perforated steel around here. So basically this whole area is open header. What I want is something that's 100% getting filtered. And when I say filtered, I don't mean just exhaust gas being filtered. I mean sound being filtered. I need the sound waves to be deadened. So my idea is that I do have a flange here, but the flange also has like a capsule, a muffler essentially, with some perforated steel that's completely enclosed and filled with stainless steel. The idea here is that not that this is going to be really great flowing, because it's not. It's a restriction. There's no you know, straight through passage for the exhaust to get by. But I don't really need that. What I need is just some flow to be able to get out of here. So what I think will happen now is, you know, especially at wide open throttle, your exhaust gases are coming in. Some of this top cap here is another piece of perforated steel. Some of it will penetrate through, some of it will deflect off, and it's going to deflect off right in this area. So this turbulence is already heading down this way, which is, to me, already an improvement. And the gases that come down the side here, because I can't make it completely a tight seal on these edges. The exhaust gases that are coming down here, probably, you know, they're going to run into a dead end here and still create high pressure, but that high pressure will be able to permeate into this little muffler and then make its way out here. So essentially what we have is two paths for exhaust to get out of here. Whatever's coming down here and can make it through this, awesome. Doesn't have to be a ton. And then what doesn't go through or ends up as turbulence because it's deflecting off whatever has the chance to make it down here. Neither one of them is great, but I think together it's going to be better than running just a cap here, because that's just a dead end. So now I've got something coming out of here and something coming out of there, which to me has to be an improvement. The question becomes, how loud is this going to be? Because if it's too loud, I don't want to run it. I don't want an open header loud. Like, I like loud, but that loud's crazy. It's annoying to everybody, even whoever's driving the car. So, how much noise can I reduce with just this little muffler here? That is the question. And there's two things that I don't want. One, I don't want it to be super loud. I don't want it to sound like this is just straight open and it's blaring just straight open exhaust to the atmosphere, because this ends up right at the back of the front wheel well, which is not that far from me. And it's already loud enough as it is. I won't be able to take that. That's craziness. And the second thing I don't want is for this to be so much of a restriction that it creates like a puffing or huffing noise. You know, I don't want exhaust pulses to sound like sa, 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 sa. I can't have that. I have to have this flowing well enough to where the gas can come out without being restricted to the point where you can hear the restriction working. So we're gonna go build these two little mufflers here. I'm gonna call them mufflers for now. And then I'll show you the finished product of what they look like. And then we're going to run the car. We'll run it capped, completely closed off. We'll run it open, which my neighbors are not gonna like. And then we'll run it with my new gizmos that I make and see if this is flowing, and if it is flowing, how much does it reduce the noise compared to being completely open. So let's go do that.
Here's a little bit closer of a look at what we're dealing with. You can see the collector there with the cap on it. And then you can see the exhaust pipe that's coming out of it. Kind of from the top side here. See it down there. See it on the other side as well. Never mind those booger welds, it's all good. It's sealed, that's all we care about. So that's what we're dealing with. That 90 there. How can we improve that? Okay, so I know that this collector is 3 inches, but rather than just make the insert 3 inches and hope that it's right, I'm going to use a piece of construction paper here that fits the exact size, and then make the template out of the perforated steel from that so that I know it's going to fit exactly right. Now that we got the basic shape of it cut out, we can come up here to the collector and we can see we're pretty much just right. I don't want it too tight, so that little gap when it's fully expanded is okay. I'll close that up a little bit and it should be the exact precise fit, so that's perfect.
So here is what we ended up with. It's the finished product. It's not the prettiest, but I wasn't trying to be. This is the first prototype. I don't expect these to work exactly how I want, and we'll probably have to make another version of these, but you never know, maybe they work awesome. You can see the capsule filled with stainless steel, and on the front side I welded in that outer ring because the actual capsule that contains the stainless steel has to be a little bit smaller than the inlet of this flange, which left a gap between where all the stainless steel wool is and the actual flange itself. So if that was left open, that essentially to me would have been an exhaust leak. All the gases that were escaping outside and not having to pass through that filtration would have just been noise, essentially, I suspect. So I just welded it up so everything has to pass through that, basically what is a filter, and it looks kind of ugly, but it's for science, so it is what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install, well, first we'll run it capped, and for all these tests I'm going to have the Dynamax Super Turbo mufflers on there because they're a little quieter and we can get a better idea of just how much the sound is affected by these. So we'll run it capped, we'll run it open headers, which my neighbors will not be happy about, and then we'll run it with these gizmos here, and we'll see how they sound and what it does.